like to call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Kokenauer?
Here.
Mr. Harshman?
Here.
Mr. Lake?
Here.
Mr. Martray?
Here.
Mr. Martucci?
Here.
Mr. Monjel?
Here.
Mr. Renzi? Mrs. Sangston? Here. And Mr. Pinto?
Here, we can stand for a moment of silence and then the pledge of allegiance. Have a motion for the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. A motion for the treasurer's report.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Motion for the payment of the general and federal fund bills.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Payment of the cafeteria fund bills. Have a motion?
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment for agenda items. Michelle Mowry, teacher, on the topic of PASS.
Hello, everyone. I went to the PASS website and did a little research. And at first, I liked it. PASS, a social emotional learning program, sounds pretty good. Find out what's bothering the individual child and help the individual child. But then I searched a little bit more on that website and looked into each case study and when people were giving testimony. And in my personal opinion, there are some phrases and concepts that have some red flags. For example, the phrase population subsets and subgroups. If this program is to help individual students based on individual results with an individualized plan of action, why the need of population subsets and subgroups, which happen to include gender and race? Another example is to focus on students' attitudes and proactive factors. What are the proactive factors? I have no idea. Another one is, and this is one you would think I would like as a teacher, it says gauge student attitudes towards teachers so that areas for improvement can be addressed proactively. It seems like PASS wants to alter a child's feelings and perceptions to approve of all teachers regardless of what the teacher is like. Another red flag, and this is a big one, ideas and attitudes vary across cultures. Students enter our classrooms with diverse notions. These nuances highlight the need for monitoring. So basically, if the child and family's cultural beliefs don't align with PASS seems appropriate, then we'll monitor and counsel the child on the appropriate cultural beliefs. I don't think that's our place. How about healthy minds or more receptive to learning? These children haven't been diagnosed with a mental illness or disorder, so who are we or PASS to claim that their minds aren't healthy and then try to fix their minds as we deem appropriate? One of the success stories on the website is about Daniel. He's a boy in 10th grade who's a high achiever and is seen as most able and expected to do well. But he's shy and he didn't score well on the PASS assessment. So Daniel was counseled, took the assessment again, he scored much better, and PASS is claiming that as a success. Nothing else to base their claim on other than his scores on the PASS assessment went up. I tried to look at their actual assessments in their instructional guide just to get a better picture of the program, but they're not available, which to me is very concerning. Why aren't they showing us at least a sample of it? And in case you're not aware, the term CRT or critical race theory was so widely known and such unpopular that they did rename programs instead of calling it CRT, and SEL or social emotional learning is one of those. This program can also be a start to get children to normalize social scores as a way of life. Either conform to the powers to be, beliefs and perceptions, or face the consequences.
1 minute.
Thank you. This board did the right thing a few months ago and kept Citizens Map out of Collinsville. Please do the right thing again and keep PASS out of the district. And I know you guys all want what's best for the kids, and that's why you're looking into their social well-being, their emotional well-being. But judging their mental health and beliefs and then adjusting it to meet a specific standard when they're not diagnosed by a doctor isn't what I believe is best for a child. So please take it into consideration, really research the program before accepting it. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all we have for agenda items. Moving into athletics, Mr. Renzi.
Thank you, Mr. Panzala. Supplemental hires, request approval of the following supplemental contracts for the 2022-2023 school year contingent upon receipt of a signed contract no later than 1 month after issuance, including the posting of the position if the contingency is not met. Junior high wrestling assistant coach Jimmy Bigham, varsity wrestling assistant coach Aston Primus, and varsity basketball assistant coach Trayvon Clayton. And I so move.
A motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to accept the resignation of Todd Barrett, varsity assistant football coach, effective October 7th, 2022, and I so move.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to accept the resignation of Keith Martin, junior high wrestling assistant coach, contingent upon becoming a volunteer junior high wrestling coach, and I so move.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval of a volunteer middle school basketball coach, Brady Lissa, and I so move.
Second.
A motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
We have an athletic meeting held on Tuesday, October 11th, 2022. Anything to add, Mr. Martucci? Mrs. Sangston?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Evans?
I just wanted to quickly recognize fall sports season is winding down. I will be qualified for the WPIF playoff, which is the boys soccer team, the girls soccer team, and the boys golf team. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Evans.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Thank you, Mr. Evans, for that. That's great to hear. They did a good job. Moving to buildings and grounds, Mr. Layton.
Thank you, Mr. Panzella. Request approval of the following event and building use requests, subject to adherence to the district's health and safety plan and all the applicable state and federal laws and orders, including any mandatory or recommended cancellations, rescheduling, or postponement, and on the condition that the requesters provide an event use specific health and safety plan acceptable to the district. Any rescheduling or postponement shall be the sole discretion of the district under such terms and conditions as may be set forth by the district. And I like 1 through, I think it's 8 or 9, 1 through 9, 8, 1 through 8, spread, and I so move.
A motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to renew the planned service agreements with Johnson Controls for Bullskin Township Elementary School, Springfield Clifford M. Fritz Elementary School, Connersville Area Middle School, and Connersville Area Career and Technical Center for the following services: fire alarm inspections and maintenance to ensure that our system is operating at peak performance, sprinkler inspections making sure that should a fire occur, the sprinkler system will be ready to put out the flames, suppression to periodically review and fire extinguishers so that the employees can utilize a fully operational tool in the event of an emergency, potential insurance discounts, peace of mind, reliable software and hardware, award-winning support services, and code compliance. And I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
10C is substitutes request a conditional approval contingent upon successful submission of screening and background checks for the addition to the substitute custodial list for the 2022-2023 school year. Joshua Monoski and Barbara Starn. And I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
10D is change order request approval of the John E. Economos Incorporated change order 2022-0050-02 for concrete entry ramps to the Falcon Stadium bleacher project, an additional cost of $6,595 to be paid from the capital project refunding account. And I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
10E is another change order. Request approval of the John Conmos Incorporated change order 2022-0050-01 for handrail cleaning and painting to the Falcon Stadium bleacher project, and an additional cost of $23,675 to be paid from the capital project refunding account. And I so move.
A motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Kokenar, you have anything to add? Mr. Martucci? Mr. Kirsch? That's all we have this evening, Mr. Panzella. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lake. Moving to Carnegie Free Library, Mr. Mongel.
Thank you. We have nothing on the agenda for Carnegie Free Library today. Mr. Marquardt, do you have anything? Thanks.
Nothing, thank you.
No, we have.
Thank you, Mr. Mongel. Moving to Collinsville Area Career and Technical Center, Mr. Kokenar.
Thank you, Mr. Manzella. Well, Mayor, request approval for Eric Jana, interim principal, to attend the Integrated Learning Conference at Penn State University on November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, 2022, and an approximate cost of $800 paid through the clerk. And I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
12D, request approval to accept the donation of shelf tiles at an estimated value of $50 from Eric Martin to Heavy Equipment Operators Program. And I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
12C, request approval to accept the monetary donation from CFS Bank of $250 for car detail kits to the Auto Collision Program. And I so move.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
12D, request approval to accept the donation of a 1998 Ford Explorer at the estimated value of $500 from Keesland, Ivy, McCartney to Automotive Technology Program. And I so move.
Second.
A motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have. Mr. Lee?
No, thank
Mrs. Sangston?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Buchanan? That's all we have, Mr. Mandela. Thank you.
Sorry about that, Mr. Kokenar. 12D, they got it. You got it. Thank you, Mr. Kokenar. Moving to curriculum, Mr. Harshman.
Thank you, Mr. Panzella. Item 13A, travel, in accordance with policy number 431, Trudy Harvey, Megan Adams, Ashley Fritz, Dunbar Township Elementary staff to attend Pennsylvania Positive Behavior Support Network, Hershey, PA, November 30th through December 2nd, 2022, at an approximate cost of $1,900 to be paid for through the PBIS funds. Staff requested. Ashley Fritz received this scholarship. Item 2, Stephanie Romanishin, Linda Santor, Janie Olry, Clifford M. Fritz, Springfield Clifford M. Fritz staff to attend the Pennsylvania Positive Behavior Support Network, Hershey, PA, November 30th through December 2nd, 2022. An approximate cost of $2,500 to be paid for through the PBIS funds and staff requested. Item 3, Amber Spock, Gina Kintheim, Polskin Township Elementary School teachers to attend the Pennsylvania Positive Behavior Support Network, Hershey, PA, November 30th through December 2nd, 2022, at an approximate cost of $2,500 to be paid for through the PBIS funds. Staff requested. Item 4, Adrian Jordan Agnott, Senior High Librarian, to to attend the Media Coordinator Forum, Allegheny Intermediate Unit, November 17, 2022, January 19, March 23rd, May 11, 2023, at an approximate cost of $572.56 for substitute. Staff requested. Item 5, Ashley McLaughlin, Laura Lambie, to attend the PDE Data Summit, Hershey, PA, March 27th through March 29th, 2023, at an approximate cost of $2,200 for registration, lodging, mileage, and bills. Staff requested. Item 6, Amy Witt, senior high school teacher, to attend the Cyber.org training in cybersecurity, University of Pittsburgh, November 2nd and November 3rd, 2022, at an approximate cost of $450 for substitutes and mileage. Staff requested. And I so move.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 13B, MOU for PIC, request approval of the memorandum of understanding between the Private Industry Council, PIC, of Westmoreland Fayette Incorporated, and the Collinsville Area School District to operate its pre-K counts and Head Start program at 730 Rock Ridge Road, beginning July 1st, 2022, and ending on June 30th, 2023. PIC shall pay the district a sum of $43,200 per year in 12 monthly installments, $3,600, as proposed. And I so move.
Question. Second and question.
That was the second question.
Is there a reason we started using the memorandum of understanding under all these? We used to use agreement. I mean, I know there was some questions Monday night about whether this was just a union specific question.
So, so MOUs with the associations are contractual. MOUs with an outside organization like PSP or PIC. Since I've been here, it's been MOU for the use of the building and operate a program in our building. But there's legal ramifications to agreeing to use our facility and operate their program in our building. I think it's a technical term, memorandum of understanding versus agreement, and maybe Mr. Witt can expand.
I'm fine.
So yeah, even just for the board's information, so even if it's characterized as an MOU, memorandum of understanding, or MOA, memorandum of agreement, they are still finding legal agreements. A lot of times it's just a distinction in the level of formality of the agreements.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 13C, comprehensive planning meeting. Comprehensive planning meeting was scheduled for October 17th at noon and October 26th at 5 p.m. So it's just an informational item. Okay, thank you. That's all I have. Mr. Renzi?
I have nothing, sir.
Mr. Mongel? Dr. Coons?
I just would like to thank all of the staff members who participated in the comprehensive planning meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all we have, Mr. Panzella.
Thank you, Mr. Harshman. Moving to cyber, Mr. Martret.
Thank you, Mr. Panzella. We have nothing this evening. Mr. Cook, how are you? Anything? Mr. Montiel? Mr. Ghost? That's all we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martret. Moving to federal programs, Mr. Mongel.
Thank you. I know it's unusual, but we don't have any items on the agenda for federal programs for this month. Mr. Martucci, do you have anything?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Martray? Dr. Coons?
I have nothing.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mongel. You're not going to make up for it next month, right? Moving to finance, Mr. Renzi.
Thank you, Mr. Panzella. Request approval for Jennifer Helms and Sri Robinson to attend the Pennsylvania Association of School Business Officials Annual Conference, Pocono Manor, PA, March 14 through March 17, 2023, at an approximate cost of $2,500 for registration, lodging, meals, and travel to be paid from the fiscal services travel budget, and I so move.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to purchase a sound system from J&L Lighting and Sound Entertainment LLC for the middle school at a cost of $10,185 to be paid from the building's budget, $4,815 remaining balance, and I so move.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval of the resolution number 2223-001 of 2022 requiring tax collectors to waive additional charges for real estate taxes as a tax, and I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval of the attached requisitions and to authorize district business office to process purchase orders and payments, and I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
We have a donation in accordance with policy number 702 to accept a anonymous monetary donation of $50 to the Bible Club, and I so move.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Anything to add, Mr. Lake?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Hartsman?
Nothing, thank you.
Mrs. Rodson? That's all I have, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Renzi. Moving to food service, Mrs. Sangston.
Thank you. Request a conditional approval contingent upon successful submission of screening and background check approval of the following additions to the substitute cafeteria list for the 22-23 school year. Kelly Darnell and Bobby Joe Smith. Nice to meet you.
A motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to hire Sabrina Miller as a 4-hour cafeteria employee effective October 22nd, 2022.
A motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to hire Pauline O. Wade as a 4-hour cafeteria employee effective October 27th, 2022. And I so move.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have, Mr. Coconut. Mr. Marchray.
Nothing, thank you.
That's all I have, Mr. Consultant.
Thank you, Mrs. Sangston. Moving to personnel and review and liaison, Mr. Layton.
Thank you, Mr. Panzella. Request the conditional approval contingent upon successful submission and screening of background checks, approval of the following additions to the professional substitute list for the 2022-2023 school year. Tyler C. Creast, emergency. Alyssa M. Briscoe, prospective educator. Darrell N. Gordon, emergency. Ethan Brooks, emergency. Brooke Williams, speech language pathologist. And Katie Jo Sines, emergency. And I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request a conditional approval contingent upon successful submission and screening of the background checks of the following additions to the support for personnel substitute list for the 2022-2023 school year. Katie Rhodes, Kelly Darnell, and Meredith Lynn, LPN, and I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to hire Megan Stanzik as a personal student aide effective October the 26th, 2022, and I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to increase the LPN substitute hourly rate to $14 an hour effective October the 27th, 2022, currently $10 per hour, and I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to appoint Tammy Wozniak as Special Education Student Services Secretary effective October the 27th, 2022, and I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Martucci?
Yes.
Mr. Montiel?
Yes.
Mr. Renzi?
Yes.
Mrs. Sangstein?
No.
Mr. Kuchenauer?
Yes.
Mr. Harshman?
Yes.
Mr. Lake?
Yes.
And Mr. Martre?
Yes.
Motion, I'm sorry, Mr. Patel?
Yes.
Motion carries.
I'd like to say something while you're doing that, please. I have nothing, don't even know the person, so I have nothing against her. It's just that I am one to like to be invited to interviews. And when they have interviews in the middle of the day, I'm a working person, I can't go. So I can't vote on somebody that I never met or don't know, or I don't know if they're doing, they're hiring a relative, I don't know. So I can't vote for her. That's my reason.
Thank you.
Request approval of Mary Hickson, aide, to take a leave of absence beginning October the 18th, 2022, until on or about April the 18th, 2023, and I so move.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to accept the retirement of Dawn Basinger, Food Service Director, effective February the 3rd, 2023, and to post and advertise for the position, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to hire Ashley Black as a personal student aide, effective October the 26th, 2022, and I so move.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And this is request approval of 4-day suspension for employees in disciplinary matter number 202210-25-01 in accordance with the statement of charges which are hereby approved, and I so move.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval of a 5-day suspension for employee in disciplinary matter number 2022-10-25-02 in accordance with the statement of charges which are hereby approved, and I so move.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I think is that all we have. Mr. Renzi, you have anything?
Nothing.
Mr. Harshman?
Nothing.
Mrs. Coconut? Dr. Bradley?
Nothing, thank you.
That's all we have, Mr. Panzella. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lake. Moving to policy and legislative, Mr. Martre.
Thank you, Mr. Panzella. We only have request approval of the following policy revision. It's 808 food services, and I so move.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Montiel, you have anything additional? Mr. Harshman?
Nothing, thank you.
Dr. Bradley?
Nothing, thank you.
That's all we have.
Thank you, Mr. Martre. Moving to safety and security, Mr. Martucci.
Thank you, Mr. Panzella. We have no agenda items at this time. Mr. Renzi, you have anything to add? Mr. Coconut? Mr. Parlak?
Just to let the board know that we completed the college training for the targeted grades at elementary and middle school and high school. Taking over the training and training materials and that training very well. November, addition to all about the crisis intervention class, with something to use special education needs that are able to return for the first time.
Thank you, Mr. Parlak. Thanks, Mr. Parlak. Thank you, Mr. Renzi, for the training in the Alice program. Appreciate that. That's all we have, Mr. Panzella.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Mr. Renson. Sticking with you for special education, Mr. Martucci.
Thanks again, Mr. Panzella. We have no agenda items at this time. Mr. Lake, you have anything to add?
Nothing, thank you.
Mrs. Sangston? Mr. D'Amico?
Yes, I would like to add something. Thank you to the coffee companies for donating sensory items for our sensory museums, particularly in our elementaries. Special thank you, Ms. Paul, for the coffee companies. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. D'Amico. And that's all. Mr. Panzella, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martucci. Moving to student services, Mrs. Sangston.
Thank you, Mr. President. Request approval of the following 22-23 Monterey High School musical production staff for 4 performances, not to exceed the budget of $50,000. conditioned upon obtaining necessary performance licensing and to authorize each person to serve as an uncompensated volunteer capacity until such necessary performance licensing is obtained. On the ability to hold, proceed, and conduct extracurricular activities under state orders. Such agreement and appointments to be subject to earlier termination based on subsequent state orders. Stipend shall be prorated based on work. Production coordinator, publicity to be determined, $1,000. Assistant production coordinator, Debbie Lucha, $500. Assistant publicity coordinator, Mary Ann Cola, $500. Code technical director, Jacob Craig, $1,000. Code director, technical director, Cassandra Calkins, $1,000. Orchestra director, Jack Ford, $2,500. Professional orchestra musicians, determined, $625. Canada. Choreographer Debbie Luso, $1,500. Assistant choreographer Lauren Rose, $500. Costume design and properties, Mistress Cole Painter, $2,000. Production manager Marianne Pollitt, $750. Peter Cole Makeup, Samantha Nicholson, $350. Rehearsal accompanist Marsha Brady, $1,000. Assistant costume designer Shelley Mathis, $400. Ticket salesman Rick Matter, $650. Program typist Denise Shaw, $400. Sound engineer Joshua Wiltrout, $1,000. Cindy Carpenter Steve Wiltrout, $350. Sound technician Mackenzie Craig, $200. Those 5 performances are presented. Pro orchestra musician salaries will adjust to $700. Program typists and rehearsal accompanist salaries will remain the same, and other salaries will increase by 1/5. I said.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request to purchase a tax assessment tool practically identifying and addressing social and emotional barriers to learning for first, third, fifth, and seventh grade students in the Carlos Area School District at a total cost of $7,200 paid through the EASER fund. And I said no.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No.
Roll call.
Mr. Montiel?
Yes.
Mr. Renzi?
Yes.
Mrs. Sangstein?
No.
Mr. Buchenauer?
Yes.
Mr. Harshman?
No.
Mr. Lake?
Yes.
Mr. Martre?
No.
Mr. Martucci? And Mr. Pansel?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Request approval for the presentation Ryan Story addressing bullying, cyberbullying, and teen suicide. January 12th, 2 presentations, one at the high school and one at the middle school on the same day. Cost is $3,000. Falcon Foundation has agreed to pay $1,500 if both schools participated. The remaining balance will be split between the high school and middle schools. And I said,
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I just like to thank Falcon Foundation once again. Another donation to the school. Sorry to.
That's fine. Request approval of the memorandum of understanding between Big Brothers, Big Sisters of the Laurel Region and Consbury School. And I said,
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
request for the following staff to attend the staff training on December 6th, 7th, and 8th at St. Vincent College with a total cost of $4,781.64. The registration is $2,520. Substitute teachers and a nurse is $1,459.14, which will be paid through the EASER funds. We're using the district's transportation, so there will be no mileage. I so move.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. D'Amico, for taking care of that van. Less. We didn't be up there. Yeah, I saw it. I saw it. There'll be a correction on the total cost of mileage deducted. Thank you.
Request approval of the following supplemental resignations effective immediately. Middle school student council co-advisor Jamie Elected Quinn, and high school prom co-advisor Kim LaBuda. And I so move.
The motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval of the following supplemental contracts for the 22-23 school year, contingent upon receipt of a signed contract no later than 1 month after issuance, including the posting if the contingency is not met. High school prom co-advisor Kim LaFisca. And I so move.
The motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request for the agreement between the Collins Area School District and Rivers Therapies for Speech and Language Support Service at an hourly rate of $65. And I so move.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request to purchase curriculum through Education Associates at a total cost of $35,385 paid through the user fund. And I so move.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval of the following travels are elected for 1 through 14. And I so move.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have, Mr. Panzala. Mr. Harshman.
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Montiel. Mr. D'Amico. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Sangston. Moving to technology, Mr. Harshman.
Thank you, Mr. Panzella. Request approval of the revised Technology Department employment policy, and I so move.
The motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have, Mr. Martucci. Mr. Martray. Mr. Ghost. That's all we have, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harshman. Moving to transportation, Mr. Kokenauer.
Thank you, Mr. Panzella. Request approval of the following additions to the bus van driver list for the 2022-2023 school year as presented in attached. And I so move.
The motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have, Mr. Randall. Mr. Lee. Mr. Randall. Mr. Evans. That's all we have, Mr. Randall. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kokenauer. Moving to the President's report, we have the two safety plans. Request approval of the revised and reviewed Collinsville Area School District Health and Safety Plan as proposed. Have a motion. Have a second.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Next, request approval of the revised and reviewed Collinsville Area Career and Technical Center Health and Safety Plan as proposed. Make that a motion. A motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment for non-agenda items. Jeremy Kessler, wrestling room. No, I didn't say it earlier. It's 3 minutes. Thank you.
Hello, thank you for this opportunity to speak to you concerning the need for a new wrestling room. My name is Jeremy Kessler. My family is very involved in wrestling, like many people in this community. I come from 3 generations of wrestlers. My dad was a wrestler on the first wrestling team in Collinsville. I wrestled in the 90s, and then my son just graduated last year as a state champion for Collinsville Wrestling. As my son got started back into wrestling, I got involved as a coach and then went to the parents group that oversaw the committee. And then now I'm joining with the alumni group. I want to acknowledge that over the years that I've been involved, recently the board and the administration, I've noticed the increase of interest and support in wrestling, and I just want to ask now for some additional support. As I've been talking to some other alumni, one thing is clear. From the beginning of our program, our wrestlers have learned to make do with what is available. Our program started with nothing. They started practicing in hallways and in very small rooms. At times they didn't have enough mat space for the whole team to practice. Our junior highs are consistently sharing spaces such as cafeterias and other parts of gyms that move mats day in and day out. We've come a long way from our early days. The high school now has a dedicated room, but it still has some limitations. I want to walk through just a couple of those limitations. One is a space for a full competition mat. Right now, when we're trying to do wrestle-offs or anything like that, it's really hard, where you have to go on a smaller mat. So what we have to do is borrow time or get time for an auxiliary gym or somewhere where we can lay out a full mat and schedule that appropriately. From what I can see, it looks like all the other sports have a place to practice that goes along with appropriate size for a competition. And I'm just asking, why should wrestling not have the same benefit? The location of our current wrestling room is in the balcony of the gymnasium, and there's a lot of distractions and inconveniences with that, where we're holding practice and whoever's in the gymnasium, whistles will conflict with each other. Also, there's a lot of noise whenever we're trying to show technique or go through just instruction. The last is, I just wanted to bring up tonight, was the space for the team. Our teams are growing. We're seeing more and more involvement at the junior high and elementary levels. And then also we are now having the girls program that was approved last year. So we're really running out of space. And I just want to propose this opportunity for you to help us address this concern before it becomes a true problem. In closing, as I've had numerous discussions with a number of people on the board and administration over the last years and in weeks, we discussed a number of options with the various board members of possible room options. Some of these options are very expensive and can take a long time to implement. But we've also discussed some options that are much cheaper and can be implemented much quicker. I appeal to you to take these decisions into consideration and give our student athlete wrestlers a room to meet their needs and give them every opportunity to succeed. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Troy Rosenberry, wrestler.
Hi, I'm a 92 graduate of Connellsville and currently the vice president of the Greater Connellsville Wrestling Club. At your last meeting, one of our members, Jakes Hatfield, spoke on this issue, and since then we've had a few one-on-one meetings with a few of you. Each one of you have given us a different answer as to what we can do going forward and what can and can't be done. So this tells us it hasn't been discussed amongst your group, or we'd be getting a similar answer from each one of you. When will this become an actual priority of discussion? Will it be an agenda meeting issue next time? The worst thing we've been told is that we have to raise the money for this. So I have a question. Did the football, soccer, or track team ever have to pay for the stadium? Did they pitch in for the $600,000 to paint the bleachers? Did the tennis team ever have to pay for their courts? Did the football or basketball or volleyball team ever have to re-court the hardwood floors? Did the swim team pay for the water or the chemicals in the pool? Obviously, the answer to that's no. So why the discrimination with the wrestling team asking us to pay for our facilities? Especially when the wrestling program is the most successful program we've had in this whole school district. I'd like to highlight a few of those accomplishments over the last 55 years. Every year that the WPIL has had a playoffs, Connellsville has qualified. No other school can make that claim. We've had 14 trips to the WPIL finals with 7 championships. We've had 3 trips to the state finals with 1 state title. We've won 221 section champions, 35 WPIL champions, 117 state qualifiers, 60 state medalists, 19 state finalists with 14 state champions. 30 wrestlers were chosen to wrestle at the year-end All-Star Classic, with 2 winning the Outstanding Wrestler Awards. This program has produced almost 60 collegiate wrestlers, giving those kids opportunities to expand their future. Red Cooper won a prep school national championship at Fort Union. Ashton Primus won an NCAA national championship for Notre Dame of Ohio. We've had 7 Division I NCAA All-Americans with a national champion in Jared King. You can't ask for a better success from the program. This program builds characters. The hard work and sacrifice it requires, it lays the foundation for success in life. Whether it be in the military, college, or a trade, wrestlers thrive everywhere. We are not asking for anything special. We're asking to be treated fairly and equally. This should have been addressed when the school went through the major renovations and it was planned, but for some reason, it got shelved. Once again, the wrestling team got left out. Please support this program by giving them the facilities it needs and deserves. Be the board that does the right thing. Be the board that finally appreciates this program for what it stands for and what it has accomplished. Give us our fair share, an actual wrestling room. Thank you. We'll see you again next month.
Thank you. That's all we have from
Mr. Penzella, I would like to say something, please.
Okay.
I want to talk to you guys. There's a few people I see out there, Mr. Sweet knows, Mr. Evans knows, I am 100% for sports. I don't care what sport it is. I've been to wrestling matches, I've been to Bacon Dutch. 2 years ago, when I first came on this board, I was the head of the athletic committee. I had a group of wrestling parents come to me, come to the committee and say, we would like to build something, do something for our wrestling. Sure, let's go for it. Everybody on this board was on board for it. They're like, go talk to them, let's get some paperwork going, let's get some ideas. Nothing. Met with them again. I said, I need some paperwork. This board needs to know what you want to do, how we're spending money, who's making what, who's building what, who's doing what. Still, 3 years later, we still have nothing. So we're all for all sports. This whole board loves sports. Maybe not quite as much as I do, but that's okay. But there's a point where we ask for all the paperwork. Where do you want it? What do you want? What can we help you with? 3 years later, I still don't have. Sure, come on up.
In our meetings, one member has told us we can have...
See, I missed these meetings this year, so I can't help.
One member told us we could have the weight room, but we couldn't have the shop room. Another member told us we could have the shop room, but not the weight room. The simple thing is to take the weight room and put it in the balcony. Then you don't lose any space there. The shop room has one piece of equipment that we were told if we could find an engineer that could tell us how to move it and revent it, it would be done. We looked into that, but then we were told that's not an option. We need to build on. Building on would be crazy expensive compared to knocking out a wall. Knock the wall out, give us those 2 rooms. It's right across the hall from the gym. It makes sense. It's logical. You move the equipment to the balcony. It doesn't lose its purpose. People can still use it, and the problem is solved. But it is not our job to hire a contractor to come in and do it. It's not our job.
But I'm not
to
saying
figure
that.
out
I'm just
the
saying we're
cost.
not against you.
Well, we've offered these, we've had this
I wasn't at the
discussion with
meetings.
multiple people, but we get a different answer from each person that we speak to. That's why we want it to be an agenda item, so we know where you stand. Because we get a different answer from everyone we speak with. So we can't do your job. We'll contribute, we'll discuss, but we need a straight answer. What can we do? Because each one of you have told us something different.
Well, you can't say each one of us, because I wasn't.
Each one that we've spoke to is given, which says you haven't had this discussion because you're not aware of it.
I've only given one answer, and I gave it to George the other night, and it's the same thing that, I think I was going to let Mr. Bradley, but the first thing you need to do is get an engineer before we see if they can knock the wall out. The plans are here now, so they can be given over to you, but we just can't say knock the wall down. I think I talked to George the other night, and that has to be our square one. Number one, the plans are here. I told him I'd have them, they're here. That's the first thing that needs to be done. Because guess what? We can say we want to do it, but until somebody stamps it and says we can do something, we're right back to before square one. So that has to be number one.
If we get an engineer and it's on a American wall, which is you're okay, we're good to go.
I am not speaking for the rest of this board, Joe. I told George the other day, you two are probably 2 of the most competent people I know for building anything in this area. George knows exactly what I said the other day when I talked to him. I said we'd have the plans here. I can't speak for every member of this board. I can't say if they're gonna have you, we're gonna build out, or what they're gonna do. But the first thing, no matter what you do, whether it's the wall in the middle or the wall on the outside, the first thing we have to do is to see if that's even a plan, or we need to go somewhere else. If we're all gonna get together, George? Yep. There you go. That's square one. Am I right, George, or am I wrong? Joe? Absolutely, because if we stand here and say we're going to knock the wall and somebody says we can't knock the wall, where are we at? We're right back to finding something else. You're going to have two, if you bring the engineer in, you're going to have at least two options to start with. At least it's something to bring back to the board. The board can't, I can't speak for the board, but myself, I can't say, hey, I'm going to guarantee something when we can't even guarantee it can be done. I don't know.
Approval, just so we're all on the same page, we'll go further. If we get approval, the next agenda would be.
Well, I wouldn't say next agenda. What you need to do is then you meet and then we decide what we're going to do.
That's the cheapest way to do it.
Well, you're going to have two options if you get the engineers, what I think. Correct, George? I think we talked about this the other day. Well, I think you need to have a couple options so you bring back, I can't speak for everybody on this board. And I know we're not supposed to be talking back and forth, they never want us to, but I told you the other day, I told you the plans are here. That's got to be step one. And Joe, you and George are 1,000 times smarter than I am for doing this stuff, so you guys know what we have to do for step one.
It's feasible to do. And I do want to say something, this section is correct. We did meet for years ago, we did say that we're here to help. The problem is, right after that COVID hit, and then it kind of just went performing. So she is 100% correct, when she met with us, was her and a couple of other board members. They did offer us that opportunity. So when COVID hit, everything kind of stopped. It really did. So, you know, support the bid, we just want to see what we need to do to move forward. We do appreciate your time.
Thank you. I mean, they have plans, if you get that together, and then you can, at least that's step one to bring back to the board, committee, whatever. All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We're thrown off here. That's all we have for non-agenda items. Assistant to the superintendent. Anything to follow? Dr. Brad.
Thank you, President Panzella. I have three items. First, I want to thank and applaud the Wrestling Families groups. Just to add on to what Mrs. Sangston and Mr. Panzella said, if someone, the representative or one of the representatives has an opportunity to grab me and meet with me, there's a couple things that we can itemize to make sure that any proposal going forward meets what we need to make it perhaps an agenda item at some point. The other point I wanted to make is that we moved our November board meeting up, so there is a quick turnaround because of Thanksgiving. So usually we're the last weekend of the month, last week of the month, we moved up, so there's a quick turnaround. So the reality of something happening in November probably isn't really a reality. I just wanted to make that transparent as well. But I applaud the group for the passion that you have, and I applaud the group for following the chain of command and actually going through the different steps, starting with your committee system and then going up through administration and going up through the board. So I appreciate that and applaud that as following the chain of command, and thank you. And I think that there's support for, obviously, for all extracurriculars, whether it's co-curriculars, the arts, athletics, there's a lot of support for all those, so thank you. And in conjunction with that, we have two great events coming up here in this auditorium. One is our CAHS Warrior Rock with Mrs. Shearer, and we wish them the best of luck, and I think there's tickets still available for those people looking for tickets, and that happens in early November. And I want to encourage everyone to attend. That's a great event. And secondly, our senior class play Clue will also be in this auditorium, and we wish those student, Fez being the best in their endeavors as well, and thank them for representing us the way they do. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bradley. Motion to adjourn.
Mr. Panzella, I want
Go
to
ahead,
thank,
Mr.
we had,
Mayor.
I like.
Oh, yes, thank you. Thank
I
you.
forget that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to thank Dawn Basinger for all her years of service to the school district and wish her a happy retirement. And I forgot one thing I overlooked when we were at Jones Grounds. If Mr. Lake, Mr. Kurz could look at that bell system out of Bullskin Township, it hasn't worked for some time. If you guys could look at that and see where we're at, what we can do out there. But the bell system doesn't work. That's it. Thank you.
I have one thing, Mr. Gonzalo. I know when we copied these agendas, they probably just put in yellow highlighter. When you take an old fat blind and can't hear guy, it's sure hard to read with black. If we could change that a little bit. I think that's the first time we had that, but I couldn't read it.
No, Bullskin. Bells, yeah, Bullskin doesn't do bells.
Oh, the bell system.
The bell system, yeah. It's the bell system.
Anything else? Motion to adjourn. Second. Adjourn.